Okay, so tonight's tips and tricks for using the myASE web portal. There's a ton of these that we could provide. We went down a list and came up with some that we think will be certainly of benefit to you. And of course, it depends on your use case as far as what would be most appropriate for you and most useful to you. But we thought we'd share a little bit of that information tonight to hopefully make your use of myASE, easier, more productive, more intuitive, and so on. First of all, let's just start out with what is myASE. It's a portal, a web-based portal where you can manage your credentials 24/7, every aspect from registration and scheduling, looking at your records in various aspects. I don't want to read the screen to you directly because everybody can read for themselves. But myASE also has kind of a dual personality, one of them being that it gives you individual functions in your own account, and has a secondary personality being that you can do some employer and employee account management and roles. And we'll touch on that as we go through this. So the first tip I just want to share with you tonight is I'm going to call it, we'll show you how it's done. And what we mean by that is that on the ASE website, we have a list of demos that go through a lot of the click-by-click scenarios of typical use cases of using the myASE portal. And you'll find them in the About myASE section off of the home page, where you can go to About myASE, or About ASE, and then About myASE and how-to demos. Or if you go to www.myase.com, you'll also see the same view, and you can select on the how-to demos from there. And you can watch these short little movies of varying lengths that will go through the setup, configuration, so on and so forth of using myASE, right from the creation of an account to becoming an account manager, registering employees, registering yourself, and then the appointment side of it. So we offer those to you. A lot of people don't know that they're there, but they are very helpful for using myASE. The next tip we just want to mention here is recover username or reset password. It's one of the most common ones that customer service here at ASE gets. So if you created a myASE account in the past and can't remember your username or password, here's a few simple steps that you can use to help recover them. Whether you go to ASE.com, the ASE homepage, or the myASE portal homepage at myASE.com, you'll see a persistent login box. In both cases, they look the same. They have the same functionality. And you'll see that there's a link there for forgot password. You're going to go ahead and you're going to select that. And you're going to find that this works maybe a little bit differently than what you've seen in other recover password applications online. We have an account matching feature to help you find your account, because you may not know, it might have been a while ago when you created it and so on and so forth. All you might know is that you've got a myASE account and you don't know a lot more than that. So if you enter the information as required and look for a match, if a match is found, you'll then be prompted with a challenge question from when the account was created that will allow you to reset the password online. And when it comes to computers, sometimes a human is a good thing. So if you need help with your account, just, sometimes it's easier to pick up the phone and call ASE customer service at the number shown on the screen. But they'll be happy to get you up and running with that. Okay, let's go to our third tip, which is going to be score reports. And score reports are one of those things that use for different capacities. I mean, for your own edification as far as your ASE testing scores, or even if you wanted to share it with somebody else in a manual way, you can certainly do that. So once you're logged into the myASE account, you're going to select the test results link from the certifications tab. We've got them highlighted here, and hopefully you're able to see that okay. Your certification status will show as the default when logging in as an individual. So in other words, this will be the view that you will see when you log into your myASE account. And so once you do that, just select the test results link and we go over, and now you see the specific test lists, and this is the test results page. And then what you're going to do is you're going to select print to view your score report. At which time then myASE will generate a score report as a PDF file that can either be printed or saved. Now we're going to talk about something called Send My Status, a little bit of a lesser known functionality. myASE enables you to send a secure letter with details of your current certification status. This function is handy for sending a snapshot of your current certifications via an email, and it can be helpful to prove that your credentials are up to date. Sometimes this is handy for perhaps a prospective employer, or maybe you work on you have credentials such as maybe L1 that might be required in a state that has an emissions program or some other certifications, so on and so forth, that you need to provide to an official entity. This is a handy way of going about doing that. And again, when you log in, the default view shows your certification status. At the bottom of the page, you're going to find a button labeled View Status Letter. So you're going to go ahead and you are going to select that button. And then you're going to see a list of, your status of certifications. And then you're going to go ahead and towards the bottom of that view, you're going to see the Email Status Letter button, and you'll go ahead and you'll select that. After selecting that, you're going to be presented with a couple of fields to populate where you need to put in the recipient's name or where you want the certification status sent to, and then the recipient's email address. And then go ahead and select Submit. A short bit later, an email will go out, and the recipient will receive an email that looks like this, including a PDF attachment and a secure link to a page showing your certification status. Whether it's the PDF letter itself or the view generated by the link that's shown, they both contain the same information. So again, that's how we're going to share certification status with somebody through we call a status letter, and again, or through the web link. All right, now we're going to talk about something called Release myASE Status. In your myASE account, by default, your ASE status is set to be released to third parties such as employers. Releasing your status is necessary if you want to link your certifications to your employer. Once logged in, you're going to select the profile view and then the Continue button to get to the Education and Preferences screen. Here you're going to see a checkbox next to Release myASE Status to Others. This needs to be selected as shown, which is a default. Also, please note that the paragraph at the top of the screen with the detailed information about the release of the status is important to understand about how this can impact the sharing of your ASE information. When you're finished, select Submit to save your preferences. And also, I just want to mention, leaving the status check simply enables the sharing of your ASE certification data within myASE and potentially your employer's database. This does not release your personal information to marketers or spammers. Sometimes there's a misunderstanding about that, and people are shy about it and will go in and they'll deselect this, and it can cause some other issues where now the certification information is not being shared through either company account management or through the employer side of it on their database. So I know there's a lot of concerns these days with privacy. We hear about it in the news all the time, and people want to be careful in their selections. But the purpose of this is to release your certification status to others. It's not to, again, help marketers out or anything else. So you don't need to be afraid of that. And that has to be turned on. And oftentimes we do get calls about that. All right, now we're going to talk about adding an employer. Now that your release of status has been checked, the second part of sharing information with an employer within myASE requires adding an employer. So let's take a look at how we might do that. From the Employer Information tab, you're going to select the Add Employer button. And using your zip code as search criteria, you will see an alphabetical list of employers within that zip code. Select your employer from the list and then select Choose Selected Company. You'll be presented with a screen with a new employer link confirmation. So you're going to confirm those details, and if it looks right to you, then go ahead and submit it. And with that, you've now linked your employer to your account. And if for whatever reason, when you get to this screen, you find that, wow, I thought I had selected the other one, a couple of them look the same, and that really isn't the one I wanted to add, is you could go ahead and you could just use the remove link and take that one out and go ahead and repeat the same process over again. So you get the employer that you want added to your screen. You can have multiple employers in your profile, and you can manage them at any given time, adding and removing as you go. All right, up until this point, the tips that we've shown previously focused on an individual's myASE account. As I mentioned earlier, myASE has a couple of personalities. It's got the individual side of it for managing your own account, and it also has the company account side of it for managing not only yourself, but also others that are assigned to you. Now let's shift gears to a company account perspective. Okay, company account management requires authorization. So you can view certification status, you can purchase registrations and exams, and you can schedule testing appointments for employees once this is done. If you've been selected by your employer to manage the company account, you can begin the process of requesting company account management through your myASE account. You're going to select the Employer Information tab and then the Manage Company Account button. Follow the rest of the instructions and then submit your form as instructed. The application process for this authorization is only started online. Your application form needs to be manually submitted. Again, the how-to demos on the ASE website go into more detail about how to go about this process. So once again, just as a reminder, the myASE portal facilitates applying for authorization for company account management, but it can't all be done online. Okay, so we're going to talk about views for just a second, company versus individual view. Now, once you've been granted company account manager status, you have a view option in your myASE account that's different from just your standard individual view. So you'll notice up at the top, when you go along the tab, you have a selection here called Choose View, and when you select it, you'll now have the option of being able to not only choose your individual account, but also view your company accounts after you've been approved. When you don't have authorization to be a company account manager, that will simply be grayed out, and that selection you can't make it. You're not able to select that radio button. And the view that you choose upon logout will be retained the next time that you log back into myASE. So in other words, if you were in the individual account view when you logged out, that's what you would see when you log back in. And you can always toggle back and forth by simply just going to the Choose View tab. All right, I'm just going to touch on real quickly here employee registration. That certainly is one of the features and benefits of becoming a company account manager once you've been authorized by ASE to do that, and of course, authorized within your own organization that you're going to be the person appointed to do that. So from the company view, you can register purchase exams for the employees on your company account. It's just a super, really convenient way to do it. A lot of people out there don't know yet that this power is there. It's in their hands. It's simply a matter of getting it switched on, once the authorization process takes place. But it gives them a really great, at a glance view of what's going on with their employees. So here we're just going to take a real quick snapshot view of the registration details for several technicians here in kind of a sample setup. But as you see, we've got several technicians shown, and we've got statuses shown via color so that you can see that, red means that person's expired, yellow means that they're getting close to expired, and green, of course, means that they might be currently certified. So you can see here that I'm able to select multiple exams for Jeffrey Chadwick, and I can look again at all the profiles for the rest of the technicians, and I can also see any statuses that might apply to them in their ASE profiles. So once again, gives me a quick view, and it's arranged by tabs. Right now we're seeing the auto view by default, but you also see there's collision estimator, so on and so forth, and you could just toggle back and forth. These will scroll horizontally, between the more tabs and then the previous one because of all the, the exams that ASE has. So it's a great way to manage your technicians, registrations and going and handling it just like that. Okay, once again, there's just a quick set of tips that we wanted to provide tonight and kind of increase your curiosity and awareness of myASE, both as an individual and as a company account manager. And this is probably a good time for us to maybe get into some of the other scenarios that I haven't covered as far as the tips and other use case scenarios. So let's see what's going on out there in the audience. Dan, Mike, Don, anything seem to be a common thread?
Hey, Dave.
Yeah.
One thing that occurred to me, anytime you're in the very first tip you had there was on the show me how, the video walkthrough. And if anybody's thinking, well, how the heck do I get back to those? How do I get to those? Anytime you're in myASE, you look on the left-hand side, there's a panel called Message Center. I don't know if you want to click back to a screen view there, Dave.
Let me do that.
It shows the Message Center box. Yeah, like right there. Over on the left-hand side, Message Center. Whoop.
My apologies.
There's that persistent message there, how-to demos. So you can always find the link to those how-to demos right there at the Message Center. That little box is always there for you. So anytime you're not exactly sure, how the heck do I do it? There's a little easy way to jump right to that demo.
Dave, most of the questions that were coming in through the text portal, we've been able to keep up with. And one thought that did occur to me, like Mike, is that at the beginning you had, again, a list of what those videos are. Now that everyone's seen a number of the things you can do online here, why don't you go back to that list again, let them take a quick look at that
Okay.
list of videos.
So yeah, we have one on, how to create a myASE account and all the steps involved there, becoming a company account manager in myASE, the process with that, and then how to use myASE to register employees for ASE tests. So that's that again is a management role thing. So that's a little bit different than registering an individual. Using myASE to schedule employees for ASE test appointments, because a registration is not a test appointment. It's a two-pronged deal. You've got the registration and then you got the test appointments. So that's why we have a separate demo for that. And then using myASE to register yourself. That's again back to the individual view and management as such. And then how to use myASE to schedule yourself for ASE test appointments. And then we also have a demo on how to submit a company assigned ID to myASE.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah, Dan.
Actually, this might be better for Mike. If an employer is not shown on the list of employers during registration, what would the technician need to do to follow up on that?
It's not a problem. Actually, after you do the search, and if you really are sure that you've put in the right zip code, make sure you've got the right zip code for your that you're putting in the work zip code, not your home zip code or something accidentally. But if you don't see your company account in there, there's a button that's labeled something like Add New Company Account, and you can create one right there on the spot. And that way, if there are other people in your company, when they come the next day, they'll find that account that you established. So that's the way, basically, by crowdsourcing, if there's a new shop gets started up, one of the employees goes in, logs in, says, "Hey, I work at Dan's Automotive." Bingo, they're in the system.
Is there any caution to that, Mike, that we got to worry about on our side that for duplicate records in case maybe they've typed in the wrong address or something like that to create a duplicate record?
Yeah, the main thing is just sometimes it'll be Buddy's Exxon, Main Street Exxon, Downtown Exxon. Make sure you've looked through the list carefully to make sure there's not already an account there just hiding underneath a different name. Make sure you've got the right zip code in there, because the search really is based on zip code. If you do happen to spot, hey, look, there's 2 employer accounts for my company, shoot our customer service group an email, contact us at ase.com, or call us at 1-800-390-6789, and our customer service folks can merge those 2 company accounts. Not a problem.
Just real quickly, popped up on the screen some URLs of, we talked about the demos already, but a couple of other, web URLs that may be helpful to you as you go through the process and use myASE or just become more familiar with ASE.
Dave, there was a question regarding going back and looking to see if the certifications would be visible to an employer, and the concern there is if you could get back to that screen really quick about the status, selecting status, just to show this person how that works. Just pull. It is very important. It was close to top on the list. So.
You mean releasing myASE status? Was that it? Is that the one?
Yes, sir.
So yeah, the status is covered under the education and preferences. I mean, I think you have to click through a couple of continues to come through. You may be prompted to update your profile as far as some of your other information, but you will get to this screen, which is, that has this title on it where the status release is shown.
Dave, we have one question that might be of interest to the group, and that is an employer with multiple locations, all the same name but multiple locations, different zip codes. Could they set that up as a single account or multiple accounts, or would that be up to, I guess, the business?
I'm going to defer to Mike on that. Mike, you got any insight on what would be the best way to handle that situation?
I'm sorry, Don, I was typing the answer to another question. Give it to me again.
Okay, the gentleman was asking that as an employer with multiple locations, different zip codes, of course, same name, would it be better to set up one master account or individual accounts for each location, or what would your guidance be on that?
He can do either or. If he wants to keep, let's say he has 3 stores in 3 different towns, he can have 3 separate accounts. That's the way we kind of normally handle that. If you're an account manager, you can be an account manager for multiple accounts. And so he could be the account manager for all 3 accounts, just toggle from one to the other to the other. And that way he can keep track of the technicians at each one of those stores separately. If he would rather have one master account, as long as all of the folks that work at all 3 stores know, hey, don't use the local zip code, use the zip code for the corporate office, next town over, and they link to that account, they can go that way. So it's whatever works best for him. He can do it either way.
What else we got? Anything else going out there? Well, if that pretty much covers it, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. I just want to thank everybody for joining us this evening, and watch your inboxes for further invitations about other topics related to ASE and the ASE webinar series that we continue to produce. It's our pleasure to provide this to you. Hopefully, you found some value in it, and always contact us if you have continued questions. And thanks for sharing your time with us this evening.